Hello everyone, welcome to HW News. India is currently trying to breathe and stay afloat and not to drown in the COVID-19 wave that has swept us. The cases in the country have seen an astronomical rise. For almost a week, we are recording more than 3 lakh cases per day. Since the last few days, our single day death toll has crossed 2000 mark, and today we have recorded more than 3000 deaths in the country. In many parts of the country, the COVID positive patients are scrambling to get beds, oxygen, and other treatment. People are waiting in long queues to even cremate their loved ones. Such a horrifying scenario unfolding in the country was also finally acknowledged by the Prime Minister. Today in this video, we have a special guest. We have a frontline worker and we have Dr. Navjot Dahiya with us. Navjot Dahiya is National Vice President of the IMA and he is joining us on this conversation. We are going to talk to him about the situation of doctors inside the COVID hospitals. What is the problems that they are going through, and should we anticipate a third wave as well? Joining us on this show is IMA National Vice President Dr. Navjot Dahiya. So first of all, welcome to HW News. I know you are very busy these days because of the COVID situation around us, but thank you so much taking out your time and joining us on this show. First of all, my question is, we get to know a lot about what the patients are suffering from. We get to know about what is the problems they are facing, but we hardly get to know about what the doctors are facing inside the hospital, inside the COVID ward. So you must be knowing firsthand about the situation inside the hospital. What is your take on that? What exactly the doctors are going through?
I tell you what happened in the first wave when we started with this problem. There was a panic among the doctors. There was panic among the our frontline workers. There was, because it is not only the doctor who is working over there. There are certain paramedics, there are sweepers, there are ward boys, and it's a coordination. Even the canteen, food, and everything has to be handled. So last time there was a big problem because doctors were treating, but our paramedics and support staff was very much afraid, and we were seeing that in private setups, people were quitting the jobs. And even in the government setups, people were, the junior most people were treating the things. And now that phase has gone because we are vaccinated, we feel some protection. Secondly, people have also understood that this is a big problem and a big disease. But these days, the problem faced is scarcity of medicines, sometimes oxygen problems. Because when you are seeing your patient and suddenly there is an alarm in a hospital that oxygen pressures are low and your administration is not able to sometimes manage it, because I have seen that it is not only that there is a shortage of drugs and there is shortage of oxygen. Many persons whom we call most affluent people, they have started storing the cylinders at home. They have started procuring the medicine, storing for themselves. But they should understand that this is replenishable. This is going to be manufactured again when they will require it. So the cylinders have gone from the market. People have bought at exorbitant prices, and even these vendors are also selling them because they are having a good profit. But they should understand it that the people who's requiring just now, so this hoarding and this panic should go from the people. And doctors today treating over there, they are feeling sometimes because you need some ammunition to fight. And to fight corona, we have very less ammunition. We are just having some few antiviral or some few steroids and oxygen. And if you feel that these supportive things are also not available, then you are also disheartened at a time, because when you listen in the morning, if you have worked whole night and in the morning when you come home and see a newspaper and you see that 20 people died here or 10 people died there because of shortage of oxygen, then you also, when you work whole night, you are also always in a panic that if it happens with me, if it happens with my patient. So that is also making a huge mental disturbance to the person who are treating.
If you look at the first wave and the second wave, you just talked about the panic among the doctors, but on the front of patients, what do you think the patients are panicking right now more? Because we also get to know that 80 to 90% of the COVID patients don't actually need to get hospitalized. It is only the 10% of the patient who need hospitalization, but still there is a lot of panic among people.
Madam, I agree with you. Certain people who are just because human behavior is different. Even if you see in families, if you see with your colleagues, every person behaves differently. So similar is the behavior of the patient. So people who have seen a death in a nearby or in a family or in his nearby house, he's more panicky. When his results come positive, he feels that he has also died. My cousin died. We were in the same wedding. So he's mentally broken. So sometimes he's in a big panic. So now we are requiring more of psychological support to these patients also. Even when we send them home, when their saturation is good, they are always fearful going home. They think that if we'll go home and we'll require oxygen in the night, we have to now these days more sympathetic and more you have to treat their behavior patterns also.
Having been said that, we know that doctors are the first frontline warriors. Doctors are the one who are treating the COVID-19 patients and risking their lives. But we have also seen several incidences where doctors were attacked by the relatives of COVID-19 patients. Do you think that this is very unfortunate and this is unfair towards doctors? And this actually,
Yes, ma'am.
hit their morals.
This is something very unfortunate, and sometimes it even broke even we are shaken and broken from inside when we see such incidents, because we are always fearful. You don't know what behavior that patient and attendants will go do with you. Once you see these videos, you go there and you have a panic in your brain, behind your brain, which is always working, that you may also be one of those victims. So government has introduced some epidemic act of medical protection. I request the government that a few examples has to be set. If these incidents occur, those people should be booked, so that it should be lesson for other people, because I know I have a small hospital. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm not a physician, but my physician team of 3 people, they haven't slept for last 45 days. We have only 25 patients with us, but somebody has to take care round the clock. One person is always sitting over there, and when he goes home, he doesn't meet the family the way he used to meet earlier, because he has a fear in a mind that I may spread to my parents, my children, and he is working there under such a stress. And when some questions come like this, and they question you as that you are at fault, or they try to prove you as a guilt, then a very bad feeling comes in those people. And sometimes they even think that we should run away from this profession, that we have been working day and night, and this is what we are getting it back.
The healthcare system infrastructure, as a lot of reports are pointing out, is very stressed at this point of time. Could we have stopped it? Looking at this entire perspective, in a broader perspective, do you think we could have at least stopped it, or at least we could have minimized the damage that is caused by the second wave?
I personally feel that when this first wave came, we were very happy. We were thinking that we have managed in such a great way that the most developed nations were following India. But somehow we lost the guard. We were never keep that flag flying, and we forgot the simple mool mantra of this corona infection, that we should make distance, we should cover our faces, and we should be sanitizing ourselves. And now fourth thing is we should get vaccination whenever it is possible. So when vaccines came, people were relying more on the social media. If you will get a fever, you will get blood clots and all that. You can find any negative thing, but people were not getting vaccinated. Even our frontline workers, when government started it for them, it was only 40% vaccination done against the target of 100% in our region. When then we again went to people, motivated them, and told them that we were the people who have been vaccinated, we don't have any problems. So that vaccination drive, when you see initially, was not, government was putting hard and sending all resources, they were sending injections, but people were not accepting it. Then doctors came forward, they got themselves vaccinated, they put on their videos. Then staff nurses came, then police people came. That delay of our production of vaccine and number of people vaccinated is one of the contributing factors in this. And the other thing is what we forget. Today also, I request everybody that whenever your turn comes, whenever you are eligible, please get yourself vaccinated, because this is the only thing. At least if after vaccination, if you get infection, we are seeing it that morbidity and mortality is comparatively lesser in people who are vaccinated if they are unfortunately again infected with corona.
Correct. When we talk about COVID appropriate behavior, maintaining social distancing, wearing mask, you said that we let down our guard. Who do you hold responsible for this situation? Is it the political class? Is it the people? Or is it both of them?
Madam, it is not that, we clap with one hand. It is always both the ways. In our country, people follow more of our politicians and our religious leaders, and some myths which they carry on. So in my personal opinion, political system is number one culprit, and number two is the our even religious leaders, maybe any religion you talk about, and third is the people.
A lot of criticism has come in from the global quarters as well, the way we handle the COVID situation in the second wave especially, and also from high courts also there is a lot of criticism of the way the government has handled the pandemic situation. You see, we, just like you talked about, our people follow our politicians and religious leaders more. So do you think if they had set a better example for people to follow, then maybe the situation could have been controlled? Because we have seen political leaders rallying, gathering crowds and not wearing masks, etc. in the assembly elections as well, and that some way had a domino effect, and that has also put a stress on the healthcare system.
I totally agree with you that we do what we see. So we follow to our superiors who are there. So we have been exactly, if I tell you, when we tell our patients, and even in some gatherings, maybe I'm not talking about now, I'm talking in February, when we used to go to some gathering, even a funeral, as a doctor, we used to tell them that please make a distance, don't agree so closely to each other. And even on marriages, because in Punjab I belong to this, there are always a big marriages, huge marriages, and people were basically every influential person who goes for a function, he tries to violate all norms of government, and we used to tell them that we should not be doing like this. And the answer was what you exactly told, that if there is not happening anything in the andolans being done in this state, in the rallies which are being done in state, it is just well, they used to say that we as a doctors are just telling them because we want to run this profession, we want to make people more fearful. But what is happening all around you? Then where is the corona there in where is the corona in Kerala? Where is the corona on Delhi borders? Where is the corona on some religious functions? We have paid a lot of price in those lockdowns and curfews to achieve and to be setting an example for the world. But we lost everything in this wave.
Let us, doctor, come back to the issues faced by doctors. According to the government, till February 22nd, 2021, 162 doctors had died during COVID. But the IMA has refuted this. Are you, the IMA has also said that the number is more, the doctors who have died due to COVID-19, the number is much higher than what the government has reported. So is the IMA saying that the government is sort of underreporting the deaths of doctors?
I tell you that what government does is that they take a data from the COVID wards. The people who are working in COVID centers, they talk about those deaths. But I tell you, a person who has an eye problem, was a COVID positive, came to an eye surgeon. He made that eye surgeon a positive, and that eye surgeon lost a life. So they were not counting those. So IMA with young doctors, we have one of our wings, it is Young Doctors Forum. So they collected the data from all over. And the data is approximately to somewhere around 790 now. And for the first wave, it was around 720. I'm not exactly, but it is nearby these figures. And we have lost them. And if you tell that in Punjab, if we go for the official data, I was a president of Punjab last year. The official data was only 10 to 12, but we lost 48 people because they were serving. They were not serving in COVID wards, but they were serving the society. They were serving, maybe they were ENT surgeons, or maybe they were not directly treating the COVID patients, but they got COVID infection from some patient who came to them.
Now, last year, the Modi government had introduced an insurance policy for the healthcare workers that were to be paid 50 lakh for the healthcare workers who had lost their lives due to coronavirus. But this year, they withdrew it. The government says new policy will be brought soon. However, there has been no announcement made in this regard so far. Has any recommendation or any communication in this regard has been made with the IMA by the government?
Our president has been writing it regularly. And I think so. I listened or somewhere that they have already extended it, but I'm not very sure. But government should extend it because the person who is going to lose a life when our soldier dies at the border, because they at this time, these doctors, these nurses, these paramedics, this system is a soldier which is fighting a disease within himself and within the patients also, because every time you are sitting in ward and watching people dying, you also don't become stable. You have restless nights and you are under a grip of a fear. So I request the government that I think so they are wise enough that they would have extended, and if they haven't extended, I would request them to extend this scheme.
Doctor, there are also a lot of talks about the third wave of coronavirus. We are already dealing with the second wave. Do you think that there will be a third wave of coronavirus? And if at all, we have seen that government was caught off guarded during the second wave. What are the precautions that the government should take for the third wave?
This is because this is a new disease. We are not very sure what is going to happen. So it is our policymakers, it is our head of the constitutions and head of our nation. They should they should do exercise to see what happened during the first wave, what happened during the second wave, and if ever there is a third wave, how we should prepare ourselves. Because now, today we are in problem. We are pointing fingers on each other. We are saying something. Somebody is saying doctors have done this. Somebody is saying pharma industry is a failure. Somebody is saying that oxygen producers are a failure. So this analysis can be done at the people who are sitting at the top, at the secretary level or at the ministerial level or at the PMO level. These things they have to analyze and they have to find it out that we were lucky in first wave, what good things we did in the first wave, then what bad things we did in the second wave, and if ever there is a third wave, what we should have our behavior. We should be firm and we should be having a strong feedback, very strong feedback from our experts and experts who have faced the second and third waves in the world. We should be talking with them and should be making a policy beforehand, and we should stick to that policy, because this corona, what we feel is not to go from the populations. We have to start living with it. We have to start seeing its mutations. We would have to keep eye on the.
Thank you so much, doctor, for taking out your time and talking to us. Thank you so much. And also, we salute you as a healthcare worker. You are doing a lot for us, risking your own life. So thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here, you can be our supporter by paying Rs 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying Rs 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.